Hello and welcome to another episode of After Some Wine. This is episode 3. I'm sure you're all waiting breathlessly for it. This time around, you can see I've got some color in my face because I got sunburned going out to watch the subject of episode 1, Lydia Loveless, perform here in Dallas earlier this weekend. But tonight we won't be talking about her. Tonight we're talking about the blazing saddles of horror comedies, and that is Baron von Blau's Celluloid Crypt presents Seven Dwarfs of Death. Now, if you get a nice look at this cover, you'll never see it again, because when you order it from Amazon, which you should be doing at the end of this, you'll be getting a different copy. This is the special, numbered, signed, rare copy that I have and nobody else on the planet has. In fact, I have 3 of them right here. And they're mine. You can't have them. This movie's so funny that I sent a copy to one of my sisters, not just as a birthday gift, but little does she know, it's also going to be a combination birthday wedding gift for her. And it'll just have to suffice. And I think that she'll agree she came out ahead on that. Seven Dwarfs of Death is another film from Scorpio Films, which has done a lot of really both funny and interesting films, depending on which one you're looking at. Classics like None of That and Disco Exorcist. Those are 2 of my favorites. Exhumed is another good one, which is a totally different kind of movie. Accidental Incest, another great film. But Seven Dwarfs of Death attempts the impossible and succeeds. The impossible being making a film that is a parody of terrible, terrible early 80s horror films and making it work. I reviewed this when it was first released in this limited release edition in a written review, and I said that Enid in Ghost World points out that there's 3 kinds of bad. There's so bad it's good, and there's so bad it's gone beyond good and gone back to bad again. And in this case, Richard Marr and his cast of wonderful actors has attempted to take that and go one step further back to good again, and succeeded. Now, I guess this movie isn't going to be for everybody. It's best appreciated if you're somebody who lived through and enjoyed some of the early 80s terrible horror films. Back then, before Blockbuster, you'd go into a Palmer Video or some other video store and rent a horror movie based on the box that it showed, and the movie would often be nonsensical and just terrible. Bad acting, terrible special effects, bad editing, bad directing. And Seven Dwarfs of Death has all of that, except that it's all done carefully. It's perfectly crafted in order to turn these terrible aspects into great humor. There's a lot of very good horror comedies. I mean, I've liked ones like Zombievers and Bad Milo, things like that, but this isn't so much a horror comedy as it is just a comedy based on horror. It's got all the elements of a terrible 1980s horror film. It's got the goofy sort of Count Floyd-ish host of the show. It's got the 2 tough-as-nails detectives, one completely over the top and his sturdy sidekick. It's got the old janitor walking around telling everyone that there's a death curse going on. It's got the inane plot of a New England college performing a play that was only performed once, and the theater burned down at the time because it was cursed, and now they're going to put it on again. And then the cast of characters within that play, you have all the awful 80s stereotypes you would expect. You have the geeky girl with psychic visions, the black guy with jerry curls whose girlfriend is the leg warmer wearing white girl who is constantly listening to her Walkman and listening to supposedly Judas Priest, but which is just bad synthesizer music. You've got the Evil Speak-esque geeky computer nerd freak who has all types of ridiculously old computer equipment. You've got the Karate Kid sort of kung fu, drug dealing, cool stagehand. You've got the dainty director. And then you've got the college quarterback, who in this case is some guy in his 50s that they never really explain why he is the way he is, which is part of the reason it's so funny. You've got terrible special effects, made terrible on purpose so that they're obviously funny, cuts of real body parts to fake body parts with completely different colors, people wandering around the back of scenes that don't belong there, some scenes that end abruptly, some scenes that go over long until you hear the director yell cut, actors discussing prior scenes before they get to the new scene, and it's all really done incredibly. You've got, strings attached to dummies and skeletons and other completely visible sort of 50 sci-fi bad special effects. You've got the Pulitzer Prize winning female news reporter who's independent and does her taxes just like Bonnie Franklin. You've got everything you could possibly want in a hilarious movie. I was going to put together, a couple clips or whatever, but as you know, I'm eternally lazy, and since I don't edit these, I'm not going to do that. So there will be 2 links below. Actually, there'll be 3 links below this video. One is to a scene, a teaser scene from the movie, where the 2 detectives are discussing a murder. One will be to the music video that they made from the movie of this rocking, terrible hard rock song singing praises to Satan that's intercut with some scenes from the movie itself. And then the third will be to Amazon to pre-order your own copy of 7 Dorms of Death, which I suggest you do. First of all, it's not that expensive, and if you've watched any of these 80s horror films, whether you watched them on VHS or USA Up All Night or any of the Channel 17 in Philadelphia or any of the other syndicated stations that were around when cable TV was first starting to cross the country, or that you've collected them, movies with Ron Howard's brother like Evil Speak and things like that. If you've enjoyed any of those movies, then, and also enjoyed the terrible parts of those movies, then you really enjoyed 7 Dorms of Death. For me, I like not to see too much of the scenes of a movie because it takes all the jokes out. So that's another reason why I'm going to pretend I didn't put clips together, to spare you so that you can see all the funny parts on your own. But again, the real reason is because I'm just fucking lazy. So, 7 Dorms of Death. Follow the link to Amazon and pre-order a copy now, or I'll come to your house and harass you. And besides, if you do, then, maybe Anna Rizzo or Laura Pepper or one of the other beautiful women in the film will fall madly in love with me. And then, I'll have that going for me, which is nice. So, get a copy of Scorpio Films releasing 7 Dorms of Death. using the Amazon link. If you don't trust me, watch the 2 links before that, the teaser scene and the video, the music video, so that you can convince yourself that I'm, as usual, entirely correct. I hate being right all the time, but I just can't help it. So that's it for episode 3. Buy 7 Norms of Death, watch it, show it to other people, and then make them buy their own copies. Don't loan it out to people because they won't return it back, and people are assholes. They don't deserve your copy. Then you have to buy another one. So force them to buy their own. And if you find a way to get your hands on one of these special signed and numbered editions, then show that to your friends and let them know that that makes you a much better person than they are, and more successful and more well-liked and more sexually appealing, better personal hygiene, all that. And next time, I don't know what we'll do next time. Who knows? Probably another personal story. So tune in for that if you enjoy punishing yourself and making yourself miserable. I'm going to go have some more wine.